Mbantua, colloquially known as Alice Springs, situated in the sprawling remote landmass of Australia's Northern Territory. Aranda people were born out of these lands more than 40,000 years ago. An ancient homeland, now at the centre of a national debate over who modern Australia is, and whose voice counts in it. Charisse Buzzacott brings her children to this community gathering so they can proudly express their culture through song and native tongue in a way that she found difficult growing up.
I didn't really have that sense of confidence around being Aboriginal, whereas now it's sort of like growing into it and realising how important it is. And yeah, just wanting to have my kids have that confidence and knowing who they are, where they're from, how they connect to people.
Before British invasion, more than 250 Indigenous languages lit up these lands. Today, only 14 of them are considered strong.
Why is it important to do that? Like, why are we putting songs into language?
Because it's very important to keep our language and our kids really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on all our stories.
Carry on the stories like we did.
Yeah.
As a Gunai Kurnai and Watchabalak man, whose family was stripped of their native tongue through white Australia assimilation policies, I understand the importance of language. But having censored our voices for generations, there's now an intense debate on whether we should be heard. Australia is the only Commonwealth country that doesn't have a formal agreement established with its First Nations peoples. And they say that constitutional recognition is the first step in addressing that original and ongoing sin.
Well, I grew up in a country that hears my voice.
That sin was the brutal dispossession and exploitation of Indigenous lands, waters and ways of life. But with the government supporting the Yes campaign, is the country finally coming to terms with its history?
Yes makes it possible.
Charisse has been encouraged by the visible support for Indigenous recognition.
For us, this has been huge, like to be able to see that support, and it resonates with us and makes us feel like, okay, actually we do have people that want the best for us.
Infant and child mortality rates for Aboriginal people are double the rate of the rest of Australia's population. Charisse is one of the first Aboriginal midwives in this community, and her experience with state institutions means voting yes hasn't been an easy decision.
I've been really battling with my own sort of mistrust in the systems, with government, with structures, with being a midwife and working in a system that doesn't see culture, doesn't value language, doesn't value First Nations people for the knowledge and wisdom that we've held this, 65 whatever thousand years.
What's the optimistic outlook if the referendum does sail through?
I feel like for me that's a display of solidarity. Like, I feel like, yes, we're here with you, and that acknowledgement of like, yeah, we did muck up in the past, that acknowledgement of that history, and also how can we move forward? We don't really have much else, like what else have we got other than the yes vote?
Looking straight at me, right in my eye.
But not everyone agrees. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples comprise hundreds of politically distinct nations.
There you go, brother. Thank you very much.
And there are many that are railing against their own constitutional recognition, including actor and activist Natasha Wanganeen.
I'm doing the sovereignty protest back home in Adelaide. So we're not voting, we're standing in our sovereign rights. You can't convince people with badges. This is our rights, bro.
Natasha believes in self-determination and self-government, and thinks only Indigenous people should be involved with deciding their collective futures.
In every community, black or white, there's going to be a range of people with different opinions, and that's okay.
It is, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't want 97% of the country who's not black voting on 3% of my people. It's not right, in my eyes. So yeah, I see it as one big massive distraction from the destruction that's going on still. How can we vote yes to become a part of a nation that's destroying our history, everything that we are? I don't see the point in that. And, everyone wants to be kumbaya around a fireplace. It's not going to happen when my people's bones are still getting dug up, when we've still got deaths in custody, highest suicide rate for our youth and our men. Our women need help as well. They're the most disrespected people on earth. unfortunately, I grew up right down the road from a really...
Australia's 235-year history has been built on the systematic erasure of those already here. Our people continue to endure some of the world's highest incarceration rates, and deaths in custody are at a record high. But as Charisse looks to the future, she hopes that her sons will have a brighter one.
I'm really hoping that we're able to have a voice and that we're able to be seen, because I feel like, if anything, you know, Aboriginal men, and in particular Aboriginal boys, they're the ones that are most at risk if things don't go right, or if we're not able to be seen and heard. So for me, you know, I really need to have a big focus on what the actions are going to be once the referendum's over.
Whatever the outcome of the referendum, Aboriginal people do agree on this. It's time for us to reclaim our rightful place.